Today's Keys to the Commonwealth episode is brought to you by Nova Insurance. Are you a business owner or property manager in Kentucky or the surrounding states? Protecting your investment has never been more crucial. Nova Insurance specializes in commercial risk advising for your commercial business, as well as your commercial real estate and rental properties. With personalized service and expert advice, Nova Insurance ensures you are covered from every angle. Call 859-687-2004 today or visit them at novainsuranceGroup.com. Nova Insurance, securing your future one policy at a time. Now, today's episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Keys to the Commonwealth podcast. Landry Fields here, excited for another conversation today. This one's going to be all about entrepreneurship. I think where we are headed as a society and where we are going is quite exciting in some respects, but also in a way, as far as some local stuff and some friends of mine here that I've known him for quite many years from our music past circles. That's my past, not your past necessarily, but it just as far as entrepreneurship and just the things that are in and around Kentucky. And so he is very in the know of that, and there's opportunities in different places to get plugged in that respect. So without further ado, Garrett.
What's up, Landry?
How welcome to the podcast, Thanks, man. The pod, as the youths say.
As the cool kids say. Yeah. Well, I'm glad I made 87 submissions and you finally said yes on the 88th. So, it was well worth doing this. This studio was awesome. So for all the listeners out there, just blow his email up, Landry@me.com, and I'm kidding.
No, you can pull up the socials or whatnot for sure. Work emails for work.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, so we've known each other for probably seven, 8 years, somewhere in that.
Near a decade. Let's just say that.
Yeah, fellow musician. So a lot of people know a little bit of my, not a lot of it, but just my background in music, stuff like that. And so me and Garrett used to play a decent bit there until I just had no more time, opened the business, and just kind of devoted all my time to Nova.
You fell in love with a new pursuit.
Yeah. That's what I tell people. That was the shocking part for me. If I could just talk about the musician part, I'm so wired like that with like creative aspect.
Yeah. Since
I was 6 playing piano, this, that, or the other, COVID hit. I've told you this. You were the last person really I played. I remember that time we were playing at the church, and it was the last live thing I did. And I've been playing live for years, 15, 16, 17 years. And I pretty much haven't hardly at all touched music since I opened my doors here. And just all my creative aspect has just been, in processes, SOP, tech stacks, and just building this thing from the ground up. It's been rather exciting. And there's a lot more exciting thing coming in that respect as far as on the my Nova Insurance part of it. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird how I never expected that. Again, it had been my whole life. Used to be teach piano as well. And now I'm just I'd barely touch it. I have a grand piano now. I'm excited about that. So I do get to tinkle the ivory in that respect. But the studio.
Did you say tinkle or tickle?
Your preference, either way. Tickle the ivories. I did say tinkle, didn't I? So I get to play a little bit here and there, but the studio is the music studio I used to have is packed up in the corner of the basement for maybe my kids to explore one day. I don't know. But now we got AI making it all half the time anyway. So that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation. The one of the guys I play for, he shared with me an AI demo of a new song that's going to be sick, and I thought, how did somebody build this in? I don't know admittedly how they did it, but it was
his song or somebody else's.
His song, just the demo before they go in studio and track everything. But
from a feeding up time point, this is the idea and just putting something out there, if anything as well.
Yes.
Maybe aspects of little effects here and there that you can pull in from but would be cool, but then merging that. Yeah. Just like everything else. And that's what we're going to kind of talk about today with entrepreneurship as the idea is that's going to be part of the conversation as, AI is definitely going to speed up and just blow up the opportunity for entrepreneurship in a big way that I don't think and as more and more people are searching for opportunities for work and how certain jobs are going to be replaced by this, I think it will only open up the jobs that people will then be like, maybe I should look at just taking the reins on my own here as far as that goes. So to back up though, enough about our past of running around the stage acting
maybe we do a podcast separately. We'll just tell funny stories.
Yeah, we just started we actually would be a side podcast. It'd be pretty funny.
Okay, entrepreneurship.
Kentucky. So you are a part of Awesome Inc. Downtown. A lot of people may have heard of that, but maybe not.
Driven by it.
And driven by it right there by Carson's downtown Lexington, but probably may not know the full extent of what Awesome Inc. does. There's many different kind of derivatives of what's going on there. And then there's also, to preview something, they have kind of like a Shark Tank type of opportunity scenario that has been around for how many years now? Five Across is what it's called.
This is the 15th year anniversary.
15th year anniversary of Five Across. And so we kind of get into that, which is something really exciting, even more so today. So tell us a little bit how you got into Awesome Inc. and just like where you all have been. And I know obviously things are changing a little bit there as well, but yeah.
Cool. Well, I will do, I'm wordy, so I'll do my best to give an abridged version. So let's go with the history of Awesome Inc. quickly.
Yep.
We'll go to my chapter, then we'll take it from there. So I work for a couple awesome guys, no pun intended. I also didn't realize how much the word awesome was in my vocabulary until I started working there. And then now all the dad jokes come out from it. But so a couple guys.
Like the punch buggy when you were a kid and you're like, all of a sudden now you see it everywhere.
Yes.
And you never saw it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, kind of that whole glass door perspective. But a couple guys started a business back in, I believe, 2003, 4, 5 era when Facebook was around for college universities, students to use. Their goal was to create a business.
Was one of these guys.
It was one of them.
You had to have a .edu email to get Facebook, and it was launched my freshman year. I will say really quickly, my college, my 5 years of college, I feel like was more formative as far as the world we know, which was Facebook was created and the iPhone was created while I was those.
You were in a very pivotal time.
Went from flip phones to iPhone.
Yeah, man, had the Verizon slide thing.
I actually had the chocolate. Do you remember the chocolate? You don't know.
Yes, no, I did.
You just like slide the little thing up where if you're really good, you could flip it, open it up in the air with
in like one hand
and then catch it.
Yeah. Man,
do that.
Gosh, that's a deep cut.
So,
okay, anyways.
So
started a business called bookexchange.com. The gist was Garrett went and bought a book from Kennedy's bookstore at UK for $150. I use it 3 times. I go back to sell it and it's $13.50. And I think, how did this depreciate over 90%?
Yeah.
You, Landry, next semester, we won't want to buy that same book. You don't want to pay the same thing. I complain. You're like, dude, I'd buy your book for you for $120. Cool. I'll lose $30, but I sell to you. I make a little money back. That was the gist of their business. Nowadays, it would be totally overrun by Craigslist back then, but Facebook Marketplace, all those other platforms that have since become a thing. But these guys
were doing it a little bit on like half.ebay.com back in the day, a little bit with that stuff. And I would only open it like 3 times. And
exactly. So they realized that was a problem. Fast forward, they ended their last 2 years at UK and into their master's programs, building Book Exchange, and had some traction. They thought they did very, very well. And again, kudos to those guys. But the story goes, they went to try and go to Facebook and sell it. The guys at Facebook they met with more or less laughed and asked how much money was in their bank account. They told them and they said, yeah, that's how much we would require you for. And it was definitely oh my gosh, that was such a big defeat. And I'm missing a lot of details intentionally, but
I didn't know that part of it.
Yeah, these guys came back to UK. It was actually Luke, who that was his idea, the guy who named Awesome Inc. And they came back to UK over the course of, I believe, either their senior year or first year of grad school. They just pestered the former president's assistant to death. Just like, hey, can we meet with Dr. Todd? Can we meet with Dr. Todd? And then for those that don't know, Dr. Lee Todd, former very successful entrepreneur, sold 2 companies, was the former president of UK before Dr. Capolito currently. So these guys finally met with Dr. Capolito or with Dr. Todd and let them know, we built this business. We want to do more of this, but it failed. And I'm going to go be a doctor for Luke. I'm going to go to Lexmark and be a software engineer for Brian, and kept sharing their backdoor. Well, Dr. Todd, in all of his wisdom, said, boys, you're 23, 24. Go try another company. If you fail in a year, gosh, if you fail in 2 years, we're going to need software engineers. You can always go be a doctor. So he gave them permission to fail. Again, in the quick timeline. Which is
something people don't give themselves. Yes. And realizing that, I mean, there's so much learning that happens in that. I mean, I don't know how many like business ideas. And I think the entrepreneurship journey is that. You're like, well, a lot of times you don't have a plan. You're just going for it, failing a bunch to learn things along the way. And finally, if one idea
hits,
sticks is all you need type of scenario.
Yeah, exactly. So these guys, again, failed bookexchange.com project, ridiculed somewhat by the guy at Facebook they met with, but he was also very gracious. He was just giving them a reality check.
Okay.
And then they built what is now Apex software. So that's been around for a long time.
APEX?
APAX. I think APEX is either the game or the hand soap. That's Ajax, the hand soap. Okay, anyways. But Apex software, it used to be called Sfinity. No one knows that. But Apex has been around for a long time. They've been a pretty crucial backbone to the definitely Lexington, but greater Kentucky entrepreneurial ecosystem. Just a software company run by entrepreneurs that's branched out to multiple other things. So they got Apex up and running, and they realized, actually, we don't just want to build a software company. We want to help people like us that want to build a business that have no clue what they're doing and be a place and a team that can equip them to go out and do said thing.
Yeah.
So we opened the doors. I say we, I wasn't there at the time. I was still on, I'm not gonna say how old I was, but in 2009 on April 1st, the same day Coach Cal started at UK, that's when the doors of Awesome Inc. opened. And they did everything from being a nightclub for fraternities and sororities to pay rent. It was an art gallery. I mean, there's a whole history and a lot of failed programming until about 2013. We moved away from doing mobile tech conferences to figuring out how do we run sort of a boot camp or an accelerator program to help people with ideas actually get this idea up into being a viable business. So in 2013, we launched the fellowship program, which is where I spend the bulk of my time these days. That's our name for this startup accelerator program. Mm-hmm. And so I would imagine some people who might be in the entrepreneur space have heard of Y Combinator, Techstars, a bunch of other groups, but these are organizations that help people take an idea and scale it to be a business where they're making revenue. We are a bit further along that we work specifically with companies just from the Startup Accelerator program that already have traction. So there's a full-time founder, they're making ideally revenue, MRR, or they have some piece of tech that they're about to
MRR,
monthly recurring revenue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That was for the listeners. That was good. That's good.
Yeah.
Thanks for it's clarifying. So they're making some money, or they have a product or a piece of tech, an app, you name it, that they're in beta test phase. They're getting user feedback, and they're maybe about to go to market mass scale. And so we're working with people that it's not just an idea. There's actually a business there. So
that's kind of like the Shark Tank type of ish thing.
That's a
spin-off of it.
No. So that is actually what the Shark Tank thing often feeds into.
Okay.
So I'll go through our pipeline in a second.
Sure.
But we started the fellowship company or the fellowship program back in 2013. And then also we started our coding boot camp. And so we figured out, we tried and failed at a lot of things. I'm saying we for the company. And that's just what you have to do. You got to figure out what works, what doesn't. Most people are too slow to kill off what's not working. And they don't spend enough of their time doing the thing that is either bringing in money or gaining traction.
Do you think that comes from the idea of a lot of times you're more or less a solo entrepreneur, and so you don't have the other voice? So can't say too many details, but on my insurance side, I'm about to have a COO equity partner come into it, and I'm so looking forward to it. If I could just speak to that for a second, in the sense that like I feel like I'm not going to be a one man parent of sorts anymore, as well as just as in the word entrepreneurship, you have 20 ideas, but only 3 of them are good. The rest of them are crap. And you need somebody to tell you that's crap, or we need to move on to this from this type of scenario. So to that point, do you see that a lot more so because it's maybe just a single mindset person and you don't have another voice within the business? Yeah.
Sometimes that's part of it. Also, just in life in general, definitely in business, people are too quick to take advice from people that either don't have the outcomes in life that they want, or we'll talk about startups. That's the world I'm in, that maybe have had the success path or enough tries and failures, which failings are actually a great thing, to, learn from someone that's succeeded and said, I tried this, didn't work, tried this, didn't work, tried this, it's stuck. Now here's what I'm doing. We'll listen to mom, dad, or brother, or best friend that has zero experience and they just want to talk because they can. And it's like the credibility, the fruit on the tree is not there. So why are we listening to that?
Right.
So, yes, for your example though, so we started that program in 2013. We started our bootcamp program. So a program, we saw there was a large gap in the tech industry for software developers. So we had a program that we sunsetted about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, where we would help people, whether they're in ministry, they were a barista, they were in education field, they were in manufacturing, you name it. We would essentially take people in about 16 weeks, take them through this boot camp. It was almost as an on-the-job internship. They were learning how to be software developers. And then we had a team on the back end that would then help them go land a job and complete their career transition.
Gotcha.
And that was really cool. There's a lot of life change.
Today's episode is brought to you by Nova Insurance, proudly offering Erie Insurance. Entrepreneurs know that success in business isn't just about working hard, it's about making smart decisions. That's why at Nova Insurance, we trust Erie Insurance to protect our clients' businesses. For 100 years, Erie has built a reputation for competitive rates and top-notch service, earning some of the highest industry rankings. We've helped many local business owners find real value through Erie's tailored coverage, ensuring peace of mind while they grow. Celebrate a century of excellence with Erie Insurance and let us show you how we can protect what matters most to your business. Call us at 859-687-2004 or visit www.novainsuranceGroup.com to get started today. And now back to the show. Because I catch at that point it kind of switched from, you used to have to be like computer science degrees and stuff like that from college, which was a big thing in college. Like, which is, I don't mean to laugh in this sense, but I had one class in C++ back in the day.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And didn't fail that class. I ended up, I think, getting a C. But I remember my final would work one time, and then if you try to run it again, it wouldn't run anymore. And I could not figure. I was just like, you know what? It is what it is type of scenario. Yeah. But it was interesting that then it switched, like you're saying, to where like as long as you knew the skill, almost like a trade aspect of sorts is what it, in some ways you're requiring there, you could find a really good job at that point.
Well, this is I'll put a little pin to revisit the rest of our story, but right now, again, we're in 2025. My brother works for Google, and he passes along some really cool tidbits from time to time. I was just with him on family vacation, and he was saying that nowadays computer science is the largest degree students are graduating from, and there just are no jobs available.
Because of?
Well, partially because of AI, but it's so saturated.
Oh, it's
so saturated. Yeah. And so nowadays, I mean, do you remember the guy Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs?
Yeah.
He was at some conference or something. There's a clip that's going viral of him saying that all the blue collar trade jobs are in such high demand.
Oh yeah.
And years ago, people would be like, well, you do that thing.
Yeah.
But nowadays there's such a need that they can just make buku money.
Oh yeah.
And so
and AI is not going to take over that from like a manual labor process in respect, and it's hard work, but at the same time, you can still bring a lot of ingenuity. That's a word. Yeah,
that's right.
There we go. I want to think of words today, but into something like that. And as we've talked about a lot in this program, there's a lot of those companies that are like looking to sell that have no one to sell to type of scenarios.
Well, we're in a really unique wave in the economy where a lot of is the boomer generation. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where they're going to retire. And so a lot of these
silver tsunami is
silver tsunami. Yep. Dang, that's cool. I didn't know that was the phrase.
It's a bunch of white-haired people.
That's fair.
Idea.
I'd say silver fox, make them feel fancy. But in that sense, that's where AI is coming in and new ways to be creative about business ownership. There are opportunities that we have never thought before. So I know one of the things that we were discussing prior to this podcast, just catching up, is, what are maybe trends that we're seeing and how are we helping folks? So to pick this pin back up in the story. So we've done a number of programs with Awesome over the years. We've been around for about 16 and a half years, which has been a wild ride. Wild. And really the way that our pipeline works, and I'll say that we've got a really good recipe that we're still massaging out and improving, is we have a couple of top of funnel things. We do events called Startup Weekends where people come, they pitch an idea, and with a team they've just met, could be from high school, college students to adults in their 60s. Try to build a concept over the week and bring it to life. We have something that Awesome called the I Have an Idea Forum. And this is where I get to spend a lot of time helping people think things. We all have ideas. The best thoughts we have are in the shower, we're gardening, just not thinking about the thing, and then it pops in our head. So people will submit us an idea. We will vet it, and then we will encourage them. I hear what you're talking about. Go talk to 5-10 potential customers. Go look at what your competitors are. And then crickets. People don't like that. There's a little pushback, but that's what's necessary to know. Can you take a couple punches? And especially early on, if we say, go talk to 5 people that you might want to be a customer, and they can't, pretty telltale sign right there. Not going to be on the table for you. But
I was thinking about this week though, as far as entrepreneurship and just the ability there, like we've said, is there's never been a better opportunity ever in the history of humanity at this point in time, especially as you leverage AI, and there's going to be more and more of a drive for entrepreneurship or opportunity for entrepreneurship we've never had, and from a scalability as well from that business. But at the same time, you have this idea of entrepreneurship and this idea that you can go do it, but without action, it's just an idea and it never goes anywhere. Well, and so how many of them just fail right there because of that?
Well, it's just and again, I'm just as guilty as anyone else because it transcends every industry, every part of life. Like thinking about doing the thing is not doing the thing.
Yeah. Like knowledge is one thing, but knowledge without action.
Applied knowledge. Yeah.
Exactly.
Is the sweet spot. Man, Uncle Ben, that could be another one of his quotes from Marvel. Applied knowledge, with great power comes great responsibility. That just came to mind, but
Spider-Man.
Yeah, and then maybe this is a good segue to finish some of our organizational startup activity. We got some of these top of funnel points. We have what you talked about, what's called 5 Across, which is our entrepreneur Shark Tank like event. We say It's like Shark Tank plus a high school pep rally, or Shark Tank but nice.
Yeah.
And so the goal for us is we have 6 total events throughout the year.
Okay.
We have 5 unique ones where at each event, 5 different entrepreneurs from across the state of Kentucky will pitch their business. And for us, this is a way just to like tout them like, hey, go get recognized. You're the MVP. Go have fun.
Yeah.
Go share your idea and be bold. Because most people, we're told that go to high school, go to college, get a job, get into 6 figures of debt, and just follow this broken system. And it's like, oh, you did the thing right. No, the best way is go bet on yourself, go learn, and go change someone's life. I'm literally employed because some dude took a risk.
Yeah. And to that point, I mean, with entrepreneurship and this risk type of scenario, like the idea of being able to fail and giving permission, like we said, but at the same time, in a broken system, there's used to be an education was the barrier. Like, and there was a price tag behind education and being able to learn the things you need to do. If you had a good idea, but you didn't know, you had to still learn the things to do unless you had somebody in your back pocket to help you. But I'm like, education, there's no price tag outside of maybe a $20 ChatGPT type of scenario if you're subscribing to it. But that's not a barrier anymore. So then what's the only thing holding us back anymore? It's the applied aspect of it. Yeah. It really is.
And that's what's so interesting too, because we get all in our heads. And again, I talk with a lot of entrepreneurs that they have this idea and they just need some direction maybe on the first or the best next step to take. And so I was talking with 2 different companies this week, and that's what I told them with one of my team members of, as we're going through this conversation, I said, give me a rundown. What are you trying to build? Where are you stuck? And, people immediately think, I need funding. I need to raise investment. Well, why? Why do you want to give away something that you either haven't built or you're not going to have complete ownership of? That doesn't make sense. And a lot of people
kind of 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out sometimes.
And
sometimes that could work, but it most often doesn't.
Most often doesn't. Well, and again, hats off to any entrepreneur in any industry. I think that we think entrepreneurship is you're the Mark Cuban, you're going to go build some tech company. An entrepreneur is someone that takes on any form of risk for financial gain later. Whether you open a brick and mortar store, you want to go open a franchise, you're in direct sales, you're in insurance, you want to build a high tech startup. Again, our backgrounds as musicians. The musicians I play for are entrepreneurs. Different style, but like they're building their own brand, and their craft is their business. So learning a lot, and it's been really sweet. And again, I think just more people, we suck at encouraging people. We're so quick to judge and be sourpusses. And
you're talking about as humans,
just as humans. Yeah. And like most entrepreneurs, they just
Awesome Inc. is great at it.
Yeah. That's why we do what we do.
But okay. Yes. I was just making sure to clarify.
Yeah. Thanks for clarifying. Awesome Inc. We're great at encouraging. That's what people like us. That's one of the reasons. But in general, most people just need their friends to say, attaboy, good job. Let me buy your product or service. Let me make you a referral. Let me at least try, or just a word of encouragement.
And if I can speak to that in aspect, please, as if I'm the guest here on this podcast.
Well, you are the guest of my podcast. This is the Landry Fields show.
The being an entrepreneur is such a lonely island.
It is so, people don't realize that. It takes one person. Again, part of what's cool at the Awesome Inc. space, we got an 18 square foot thousand building downtown next to Carson's, like you said. And that is, if I would recreate the word co-working space or whatever, it's relationships. Most people don't realize when you're starting out alone, it's you're working from your kitchen table, your parents' house, the local coffee shop. You're by yourself. And in my brain, I always think that entrepreneurs are like pieces of charcoal, summer grill. You throw them up, you heat them up. They're all red hot, making the fire warm. In the same sense, entrepreneurs, when they're in the right environment, they're producing activity. Doesn't matter, again, the industry.
Yeah.
You remove them from said activity, the environment, and they'll cool down. And that's one of the interesting things is seeing when people in the right environment, they want to be productive. And it's cool. I've seen so many different entrepreneurs throughout the years come through those doors, either working there for a day or for many, many months. Their team grows and they got to go buy a building or move because they need more space.
But one of the big things for me, though, is like the idea of love your journey. And I've talked about it before. And then like really appreciating the fact that you can't skip the steps to get there. You have to learn each step as you go along and something like that. Sometimes you could do it more calculated so maybe you don't fall backwards as many steps if you trip and fall. But yeah, it's such a line. And almost every entrepreneur in some ways could probably say like, yeah, my family and most of my friends thought I was crazy. Yeah. Right.
Still
like
do.
Most of them, or probably still do in some respects. And it's you get it or you don't get it type of idea. But I mean, that's the American spirit in any ways, as far as just entrepreneurship goes, that I think we're kind of returning slowly back to that idea of, having your own businesses. Cause I mean, most people used to just own your own businesses, whether it was farming, whether it was some little store in town, this, that, or the other. It didn't used to be as much of the world we are in now, which is fine. It is that, but yeah, it can be such a lonely island that, ways for encouragement and finding these groups. I'm sure you all do a great job of probably connecting people within whatever industry that they're in type of scenario is so valuable in that sense.
Yeah. Well, and actually that's a good point you bring up, because with our pitch competition, I think I forgot to finish. We have a handful of different events. Each event will have 5 different companies. 1 winner is produced. Each of the 5 winners throughout the year.
Each contest has 5 companies presenting.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything's 5 across, $5 prize, 5 p.m. start time, 5 entrepreneurs, 5-minute pitch, all the stuff.
Okay.
So each of these events produces 1 winner. All 5 unique winners then compete in December for the finals for $5,000 cash prize and a $50,000 investment note from a partner in town called Keyworth Capital. And what's cool is what you literally...
Who's voting on?
Yeah. So we have a panel of judges. Usually they're going to be some very esteemed entrepreneur. We use the phrase mentor a lot. So someone that might have been a former entrepreneur, they exited and then now do a lot of consulting.
Yeah.
Different investors will have, and then right now we're working on our celebrity game. So that might be something to pick your brain about. We're trying to get some folks from
good ones. So
some folks from Shark Tank or Shaq or whomever.
Actual celebrities, not Kentucky celebrities.
Well, let me also say this. So with being the 15th year anniversary, we've had a lot of really cool stories come from Five Across. So what you were just saying is that entrepreneurs are looking for either different introductions or they need help. This platform has been some sort of a legitimacy platform that people can talk about what they're building, and people are like, yeah, whatever. And then when they say, no, hey, the guys at Awesome Inc., I pitched at Five Across. Then people say, oh, great, the Awesome Inc. team? Then, okay, you're serious, we can do business. And it's been a long time coming of building that brand. There have been a lot of people that have been so helpful, so encouraging over the years. And for this year specifically, we're doing what we've never done before. We're shooting for the stars to get the largest startup event in Kentucky history. We're trying to sell out for the Five Across Finals, which is in December.
I heard it was going to be big, but I was waiting.
Yes.
To, have
cool.
Conversation
so the last couple years, we've done this event at the Kentucky Theater in the smaller venue, which is about 300-ish.
Okay.
We're trying to sell out the 800-seat theater at the the historic Kentucky Theater.
Okay.
And pack that out. And so that's why we're trying to figure out how to be creative, draw a larger crowd, because it really is special. 2 years ago, a hilarious, lovely woman, Allie Trutman in Louisville, Kentucky, has a company that pitched and won. And somehow, I don't know how this came about, someone who is connected with the Walton family, the Walmart family, was at this event and helped her close nearly a $2 million Series A round. I don't know how they ended up at Five Across, but she won. This person walked up, said, we need to talk. Lo and behold, doing deals, wheeling and dealing. And it's just cool to see. And that is probably the most outlier of outliers we've had, but we've had a lot of similar companies. Again, one of the guys who pitched last year in the finals, one of the judges, who's a very successful local entrepreneur, they struck it off, and this guy is like, all right, I'm coming out of retirement. I'm going to be your CFO. And just seeing cool things like that happen.
And that's exactly the point of just putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And I know there's a big fear aspect of that. I've talked about on this podcast of the idea internally you try to emulate, which is born fearless. And again, that we're not born with fear outside of falling and loud noises.
And the IRS.
but putting yourself out there, it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
But what's the worst that could happen? Something like this where I didn't even win, maybe, or maybe I did win, but sometimes maybe I didn't even win, but somebody else in the audience is like, no, I like this. I could do something with it type of scenario. Or putting yourself out there on LinkedIn or social media, this, that, or the other. And what's the best way to learn a lot of times? The best way to learn a lot of times is by creating content or doing educational stuff or to help teach yourself, but also teach people at the same time. And I've learned, speak to this podcast, learned so much on this podcast just because I'm trying to learn at the same time and helping people if I can in any capacity by putting some of this stuff out there. So it's really exciting to see, and hopefully I will definitely try to, I was already planning on trying to get over to that.
Yeah, we'll just get, every single one of your insurance clients to help fill that venue. It'll be pretty sweet. But it's been such a cool experience because from one sense, working with the Awesome Inc. team, we know what goes on behind the scenes, and we talk with companies, we're vetting them, we're trying to help them hit milestones. Earlier, I was talking about our pipeline. So we have a couple of top of funnel things. Five Across, the entrepreneur pitch competition, that feeds into the program. I get the privilege of running the fellowship. So probably 75% of the companies that I've gotten to work with over the last couple of years, and then stepping into the role leading this program the last 2 years, Five Across is the proving ground, so to speak. And then from this program, the goal is we have a $5 million venture capital fund. And then we want to, again, be producing healthy companies that can move on essentially down our pipeline, receive investment. And then we have a really cool program called the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame. That is exactly what it is. It's a Hall of Fame that recognizes the biggest, the baddest, the coolest, most accomplished entrepreneurs in Kentucky. And what's great is that, again, I'm imagining if that was right here on this wall.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of plaques of men and women that have built companies in Kentucky that have done so much for our economy. And oftentimes that's just a way to say, if these folks did it with maybe less resources, less tech, less fill in the blank, they're the roadmap for this next generation to say, if they can do it, you can too. And what's special is you and I were both Kentucky boys. I love talking with people from out of state that think Kentucky is barefoot hillbillies, urban, no teeth.
You from Louisville originally?
You know this, I'm from
Louisville. Yeah. I was like, but I was even growing up in Kentucky. I was like, always like, I don't feel like we have much to offer. And then the more I've grown into just
it's what's so special.
Sports and just the 4 seasons we've got and all the cool travel things you can do here. I'm like, pretty awesome. But that honestly, it was exciting in that sense. Like, again, back up to the beginning of this conversation, it started with just the idea of selling student books and just
trying to make some money.
Entrepreneurship can be like, you're like, this ran up against the wall, but that because you got to that point, realized, oh, there's another path here I could start taking. There's an opportunity here. And now, I mean, like, I don't think I realized this. Now you're basically in charge of creating a private equity fund for like investing into companies, basically, right? Is that what that?
Yeah, not private equity. So the fellowship is that startup accelerator program.
Yeah.
So essentially, I'm a business consultant. / hybrid team member for. We work with 8 unique companies.
I see.
Throughout the course of the year, and then the goal is to then feed them. They're building traction. They're growing. They're more successful than when they came through our program. Then they're ideally viable to get
and connect.
Venture capital investment from our pool.
Yes.
Different entrepreneurs.
Not the company itself, but
exactly.
You're connecting them beyond just that scenario.
And again, goals to help create a pipeline, help create more companies in Kentucky that were non-existent, a handful of years ago that are building revenue, creating jobs. I mean, what's really cool, life to date of this program, the fellowship program, we've got the privilege to work with 90 different companies that have raised over $210 million in funding that have created, as of New Year's Eve last year, so 2024, it was 893 jobs. So this year we're likely going to break past the 1,000 all-time jobs created, which is cool because those are real people whose real lives got changed. And again, just to be a little chapter in someone's story is a really special thing. And a lot of people come through Awesome Inc. They go on to do much cooler things. So just really, really grateful to be that stopping through point.
In some ways, it almost feels like, kind of like the college, like a new version of college type of scenario as far as like, I've been in there many times. You see somebody, but then it's like always there's new people that was there. So they're like there for a period of time. And then usually they can go back, you know what? My journey started where I got involved and was just trying to do business. And I was at Awesome Inc. and connecting and this and the other. Well, it's pretty cool to see.
I mean, it's definitely like that experience. You learn by doing things. I mean, I think about college. And I'm fortunate I did a program in Kentucky called the Governor Scholar Program, paid for my school, very grateful. However, I learned more in the first 6 months at 22 than I did in 4 years of college. And it's just because
100%.
Well, it's just because you go to college and it's a broken system in my opinion. And I'll say from my experience and only my experience that I sit down, I learn from someone that is likely not passionate about what they're teaching. They maybe have never even done the thing they're teaching. And then I get graded on if I can memorize something, regurgitate it for 24 hours and then
correct.
Versus what hard skill sets did I learn? Okay. I mean,
what is the best way to learn? Go freaking do
exactly.
it.
I mean, the reason I got my job is because I grew up not knowing a stranger and I could shake hands. I could hold a conversation. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. All the things. And I asked the guy who's my CEO, Brian Rainey, love the guy. I asked him when I was 22, I went to a career fair to go shake hands with 2 of his employees that were buddies of mine from CSF at UK.
Yeah.
And I met him and I asked, I'm 22. No one's going to take me seriously. How do I go put myself in a spot where I have 3 to 5 different jobs that I can choose whichever's best for me in a couple of months?
This was the question you asked
This is the question I asked him because he shook my hand. We had a mutual introduction. Then he asked me, Garrett, how can I help you? I was like, I'm trying to schmooze you. Why would you ask how to help me? Okay. So then that was the question. How do I put myself in this spot? And because this is what my brother did as a software engineer. He'd go get one job offer from Google, leveraged it to Bloomberg, to Facebook. Yep. So he knew what he was doing. And so I saw that and I thought, great. Most people do the thing of go to college, great job, mom, dad are so proud of you, take whatever job you want, you go move to San Diego, you move wherever, no community.
Yep.
In 6 months down the road, you think, why am I in this role? I don't like my life.
Yeah.
And not that you have messed up per se, you follow what you've been told. And that's not necessarily what you want to do. And so for my story, the guy asked, how do I put myself in this unique spot? he just made a couple of recommendations, and I did what the guy I was asking for help from told me to do. And
imagine that.
Yeah, I know. And in 3 months, he offered me a role, created me a role that didn't exist. And that just, has propelled so much in life, and getting to work with people and encourage them to like bet on yourself, go be creative. Guess what? You're going to make a mess. No one's going to remember it in 30 minutes and the next day.
Yeah. Betting on yourself. Don't be afraid to fail and get over the fear and put yourself out there, and then honestly connect as much as you can, because connections are so valuable. And as you clearly know in this, and people are more willing to help somebody connect to someone who might be able to help them if you just ask.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting too, we all have heard the phrase in life, it's not about what you know, it's who you know.
Oh, yeah.
We actually say at Awesome, like, that's actually only halfway true. It's who knows you and what they think of you. Best case example, you're giving me a slot of time, which I'm incredibly grateful for, to be on this podcast. If you thought I was a jerk, I wouldn't be here. And we all have dated somebody previously. Yeah. We don't call our ex-girlfriend to like go on a trip because, or they wouldn't be our wife or whatever.
Right.
And same thing when it comes to networking with jobs, you want to help people that you like, and relationships are like the old-time justice scale, and it's been really cool to be able to teach that to college students and say, you got to put yourself out in a unique spot to learn. Because I'm speaking from my experience, and I'm talking with entrepreneurs. These are people that found and identified a problem and realized I can probably create a solution, but this person has this and this person has this and this. Oh, there's something here I should spend my time to.
Yeah.
And again, I think the best way to talk about failures, like you only fail when you quit. Might be a long time to succeed, but you really only fail.
It's like stocks. You only lose money if you pull it out.
Exactly. But what's really cool is messing up. Like those are where the funniest stories come from.
Yeah.
Think about every movie, every comedian, every great story when you're at dinner with friends. It's usually, dude, I made the dumbest mistake.
Yeah.
What happened?
And that's why I say about loving the journey aspect.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's the prize. People don't know that.
So and to that point, I'll relate to parenthood a little bit in the sense, like, so me and my wife, probably more me, decide we were going to do one last quick hurrah before we got some changes coming on this fall.
Okay.
And my kids love Dude Perfect. You probably know who Dude Perfect is.
They're so
fun. Super cool dudes that do trick shots. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, just ask your kids because they probably know.
And then go watch a YouTube video with them.
They're selling out stadiums on live shows now. Yeah. My kids went when they were really young. They were like, we really want to go again, but we couldn't because of the day they're in Louisville this time. We couldn't go. And I finally was like, oh, they're in Columbus. I think we can make this work. We're going to do almost like the Disney thing, wake up, surprise, watch the new video, and then be like, well, guess what? We're going to go see them live.
Yeah.
And I'll just say it turned into one of the, just one thing after a freaking another involving, I won't even get into it type of scenario of trying to get there. No actual car trouble, but just like, just things happen. There's with kids and just almost like that. And it was like, we're all kind of like yelling at each other, this, that, or the other. We finally get there. Because we're going to do some things on the way up, and we get there. We're 30 minutes late to it. It's already started. It's weird feeling walking into an arena, walking up to an arena, and not a soul is in sight because everyone's already there and you're not, type of thing. This, that, or the other. It felt all the way into the next morning as well until we finally got home to Lexington. But I was like, we're gonna look back at that and just remember it more because of all of that stuff than we would have if we hadn't, and it would just be like, oh, we went and saw Dude Perfect type of scenario. So you know what I'm saying?
I totally agree. And like that, and that's what's also really fun. But the learning is in the doing. And again, the funniest stories are like, man, I was such an idiot, or gosh, why did it take me so long to learn this?
Yep.
I mean, and I know we talked about music, but that's been my journey of pursuing music. I waited for so long for the stars to align. And lo and behold, one of the artists I play for outside of church and CCM and all that is a buddy that we have a number of mutuals in town. I told this artist no for 2 years. And then he called me Christmas Day or December 26th of 2023. And he's like, dude, I keep hearing your name for a couple of years. Like, just come play one show with me. We'll have fun.
Yeah.
Play one show, dude. It was the most fun I've had in so long. It's like, why did I wait to try and feel like an A.B. perfect?
Yeah.
And then the rest is history. It's been like a year and a half of playing with this guy, and it's been awesome. The most fun.
I will say the only thing I really miss in music is the several shows where it was like sold out places of like 1,000 plus people, and mine was more rock related.
You were like with like 21 Pilots, kind of that era, doing stuff.
Yeah, but like it was a little more of just like fun party, let's go type of stuff, and the actual physical high of just adrenaline you
It's
would get
insane.
Ready to do that was just like, that's the only part I missed. And then sometimes I'll turn on to like one of these old songs and just start going crazy in my car and immediately get whiplash because I'm old now and like I can't do it anymore. So
no, it's funny. It's like when you finish a really good gym pump. That's the same feeling as when you walk on stage.
Just the energy. There's just things of like, and most people never get to experience that aspect. They can feel it in the room, but like when it's feeling that's directed towards you,
like being on the receiving end.
Yes, it's so cool, man.
Nuts. Yeah, no, we had the privilege. We sold out, or we were part of a group that sold out Manchester Music Hall.
Yeah,
back in March.
That's right.
And we opened for Cooper Allen, and insane. We played for 1,100 people.
Yep.
And the energy was totally awesome. Different. And then the next week we went back to that same venue for an even larger artist, Corey Kent. Maybe 200 people in the room. It's like we were so fortunate that we got this one slot.
Rather play a sold out room that's smaller than back in the day than when it was bigger and not near as full kind of thing. But anyway.
And it's a special thing.
Well, to kind of wrap this up, I mean, AI obviously is, like I said, it's changing everything.
AI for Awesome Inc. That's right.
Oh, that's right. That's
so bad.
Yeah. But because I know that's changed. Like the 8 Max I was talking to, the guy who runs that aspect, and the idea that was great. You had all these people learning code, but AI is really replacing a lot of that aspect of even coding, and so like some of those jobs are just not even there anymore. And so I know that's affecting. They're kind of changing that model, which is really cool. But just like it's wild. I mean, I don't know how to code. Like we talked about C++, now I can just go prompt something, code some things like that. So, you can go to things like Lovable, Replit, Base 44, Cursor. Like you're just like typing in stuff and it's creating apps. And, I'm just like, I don't know, recreate DocuSign. I've like half recreated it in 30 minutes just from being like, all right, now add this feature and you just tell it type of scenario. And it's the world of like, like more or less like, instead of saying what's possible, it's more like what's not possible is more of the question I think I'm asking myself each and every day of where we're headed in that sense. So it's cool. And I know you all are obviously adapting now, and that's part of the journey of entrepreneurship. It's adapting and being able to being able to pivot, honestly, especially as we go forward. It's those jobs, it's those businesses, et cetera, that are not adaptable or learn to pivot and be flexible in whatever's happening. And hey, the opportunity is moving this way. Yeah. The stream is now moving easier over here in this section of the river. Like, that's the lesson that I've been learning, and I'm hopefully trying to help people learn as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really cool, and I'll be concise here. It's been cool. AI is, everyone says AI, like it's this sexy thing. Point blank, most people just use ChatGPT, and they just say AI, or they have a little bot plugin, which that's not a bad place to start. What I think is the potential danger is when we almost create WALL-E, the Disney movie or Pixar movie, and we just have this thing do everything for us, and we don't think. Like the best way to, and you mentioned a second ago with DocuSign, it's make this be a thought partner where here's what I'm thinking. Let me give you all the info. Correct me. What are blind spots if I'm trying to do XYZ thing? And that's what we're seeing the smart founders do. Well, everyone's, that sounds a little rude, but the founders that are thinking through how to use it and leverage it more effectively, they're giving it really good, thoughtful prompts, thoughtful questions. It's this entity. And they're able to either be smarter with their customers, their business, how they're going to make them drive revenue from the software side. Yeah, and to some degree, it is taking very entry-level roles, but also a lot of people use it as a crutch, and then they never learn the skill set. Yeah. And so then
you can just be consumer-only type of scenario, or you could leverage it.
And that's the danger when you're consumer-only, but when you're able to, again, have it as a thought partner, that is when things change and become really effective. But then a lot of early-stage entrepreneurs that we're working with, that's what we will actually that's what I refer people to when they want to build an app or a bot or something. I say, go use bubble.io, get an MVP, minimum viable product, just get something working to at least explain your idea, see if it's viable, and then put that in front of customers potentially and have someone say, no, I don't like that. I have no need. This could be cool. I would only use it for this feature. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah. And you get that feedback. And then your idea isn't this sexy thing that you think is going to make you a millionaire. It's actually, wait, I'm building something that serves people. What I thought was initially not fully correct. Let me tailor it to what people need. And that's what we're seeing is done very well.
Leveraging in a way, and that's the exciting part. If you choose to look at the more of the exciting part in that aspect, you can go either way for sure. And there's some scary parts of it, but like a lot of the stuff that we just do is just so mundane of like, that's not really very fulfilling as a human to do type of scenario. And those are the things I'm excited about where that will be able to be replaced. So what will then allow me to be more of a person that like, cause I deal with insurance, and insurance at the end of the day is a very emotional business when crap hits the fan type of scenario.
Yeah.
And when we need a human being to help somebody walk along those sides, there's so much just mundane data of just like this information needs to go over to this place and then move to this place. That is just like, that's the part that, as humans, I think are, as far as I think more of a creator scenario and created to be like to create. So like to love, to create, to be able to create, to be able to think, to be able to dream. Like that's really, I think that what makes us, more that human aspect of us that separates us in some respects. So from that part of it, I'm excited because you can also easily have the downside of it for sure. So we'll see.
Definitely a swinging pendulum.
Yeah. And if it's anything I've learned as I grow, some kind of pendulum or balance board, you're never going to be able to get it fully equilibrium. You're always putting a little bit too much on one side as far as pressure. That's goes to being a dad, going to be a business owner, going to be a husband, whatever type of scenario.
Rockstar, yeah.
So, but put too much pressure on that side at one point. So, but anyway, what's the best ways to get a hold of me? Maybe not necessarily a hold of you.
Get a hold of me.
But what as far as connect with what Awesome Ink's doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a lot of upcoming events, and so we are nearing the end of summer 2025. You can go to our website, awesomeink.org, and you can find so much. You can email me personally. I feel like I should look at the camera. Email me personally, g@awesomeink.org, so that way you don't butcher my last name trying to spell it. It's admittedly a lot harder.
Did you say what was the email?
Butcher. Oh, my email is g@awesomeink.org.
The letter?
Yeah, just the letter G.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah. No, I did that intentionally. It's a forwarding email address because everyone botches my last name when they try to spell it. It's super hard apparently. Email me, g@awesomeink.org. I'd love to be a resource. That's the main thing. When you're around good people that want to help, and sometimes it's sitting down and just hearing somebody out. Sometimes it's saying, that sucks.
And that's the hard part too. You don't want to crush someone's dreams too, but like
have a little humor with it.
Yeah.
Or it might be saying, there's something here. Let's build this relationship, and maybe I'll be able to make that intro or that referral for you. But a lot of times it's just giving people a place to connect, find the right people. We make intros all the time for people to resources, funding, you name it. And just keeping a familiar cadence with people. What's going on? How do you need help? That's ultimately what is going really well.
The best hitters strike out all the time, and you're not expecting a leadoff home run hardly ever. So that's how it goes. Garrett, appreciate your time, and we will see everybody back here in a few weeks on another episode of the Keys to the Commonwealth podcast. Appreciate it.
Boom. That's it.
Let's go.
To learn more about this podcast, visit our page at keystothecommonwealth.com. To connect with Landry regarding insuring your investment portfolio, email Landry at novaInsuranceGroup.com or call 859-687-2004.